A shocking clue may have just changed everything we thought we knew about the upcoming 3 weeks in Port Charles, stretching from August 24th to September 11th. At first glance, the canvas looks like it is setting up for standard corporate warfare, romantic fallout, and legal maneuvering, but something isn't adding up anymore. We are looking at a narrative that is about to be blown wide open by a sudden, inexplicable disappearance, and the wrong person is being perfectly positioned to take the fall. A new detail could expose the truth about what is really happening in the dark corners of the Quartermain estate and the treacherous, claustrophobic cell blocks of Pentonville. If you look closely at the upcoming Sidwell estate auction, it is being painted as a simple, high-stakes bidding war between Drew Kane, Sonny Corinthos, and Valentine Cassidy. But guys, that auction is a massive smokescreen. It is a calculated distraction meant to keep the heavy hitters looking the wrong way while a much more sinister plot unfolds right under their noses. These three power players aren't just fighting over assets. They are using this auction as a battleground to settle old scores and exact brutal revenge on one another. But while their egos blind them to the periphery, someone is about to vanish without a trace, and the fallout will shift the balance of power permanently. We are looking at the beginning of a massive frame-up, and the clues are hiding in plain sight. Let's zero in on a very specific, easily overlooked detail that changes the entire trajectory of this narrative. The clue lies with Giovanni Gio Palmieri and Emma Scorpio Drake. Sometime shortly after Trina Robinson and Gio's highly anticipated musical performance, Emma and Gio are going to accidentally overhear a massive, heated argument. This isn't just a teenage misunderstanding or a simple disagreement. They are going to hear something that the adults in Port Charles are desperately trying to keep buried. They are going to catch a specific word, a chilling threat, or a name drop that was never meant to be uttered out loud. If you ask me, this overheard conversation is the absolute linchpin of the entire mystery. Why? Because right around this exact time, Kai Taylor is going to completely vanish. Kai's unusual and abrupt absence immediately following the big musical event is going to send shockwaves through the younger crowd and eventually the entire town. Trina and Gio are going to realize that the eerie silence from Kai isn't just him blowing off steam, but the fact that Gio and Emma are sitting on explosive, overheard information means they hold the crucial key to Kai's fate. They are the accidental witnesses to a dark conspiracy. This overheard argument is the definitive proof that Kai didn't just walk away to clear his head. He was forcibly removed from the board. And the people arguing in the shadows, they are frantically trying to figure out who is going to take the blame for this massive crime. Emma, being a Scorpio and a Drake, has investigation running through her veins. If she decides not to stay silent, she and Gio are going to inadvertently open a highly dangerous line of investigation that the PCPD isn't even looking at yet. That's where things become interesting. Let's start connecting the dots across Port Charles, because it may not be a coincidence that so many volatile situations are peaking at the exact same moment Kai goes missing. Look at Pentonville. Curtis Ashford is facing a terrifying new reality because Jen Sidwell is now operating within the exact same prison wall. Sidwell doesn't need to physically attack Curtis with a shiv in the yard. He has the hidden wealth, the overarching power, and the inside connections to turn Curtis's daily life into a psychological and physical nightmare. Sidwell is pulling strings from behind bars, using his network to apply unbearable pressure on Curtis. This proves Sidwell's reach is still fully active, which means his assets on the outside, the very assets being auctioned off, are laced with danger. Then, we have the bizarre and escalating mystery surrounding the newly arrived Hudson and little Phoebe. Hudson is growing increasingly convinced that Phoebe is directly connected to a woman named Delilah. His relentless pursuit of the truth is about to drag Brooklyn, Quartermain, and Harrison Chase into a highly dangerous investigation. Phoebe isn't just a child caught in a confusing paternity mystery. She might be the master key that unlocks a much larger conspiracy. If Hudson's digging unearths a connection to Sidwell's underground network or the missing police files, Brooklyn and Chase could find themselves in the crosshairs of very dangerous people. Chase's badge and Brooklyn's fierce protective instincts will be tested like never before. And we absolutely cannot ignore the ticking time bomb that is Rick Lansing and Elizabeth Baldwin. Rick's jealousy over Elizabeth's growing closeness with Dante Falconeri is reaching a dangerous, fever-pitch breaking point. Rick is losing his grip on reality, and his deeply possessive nature is pushing Elizabeth further and further away. If Elizabeth finally opens her eyes, realizes the toxic cycle, and officially ends things with Rick, Dante is standing right there as her solid, reliable fallback. Rick's impending emotional collapse is a massive distraction for the legal and law enforcement systems in town. While Dante and Chase are wrapped up in Rick's escalating drama and Hudson's dangerous investigation, no one is paying attention to the real threat lurking in the shadows. The bigger question is, who is orchestrating this perfectly timed chaos? Here is the massive theory that ties all these seemingly disconnected threads together into one terrifying tapestry. There may be more to this story than a simple kidnapping or a random disappearance. What if Drew Kane is the ultimate puppet master behind Kai's vanishing? Think about it logically. Drew has been harboring a dark, relentless thirst for revenge since his return. His previous plans to neutralize Willow Kane completely failed, but that didn't stop him. It only made him more calculating and ruthless. Drew knows that Kai has been snooping around, discovering dangerous things about his recovering mobility and his hidden agendas. Kai became an undeniable liability. But Drew isn't just going to eliminate Kai. He is going to weaponize his disappearance to destroy his enemies. The big reveal is that Drew orchestrated Kai's vanishing to perfectly frame Willow Kane. By making Willow the prime suspect in a potential murder or kidnapping, Drew accomplishes two massive goals with one move. He permanently gets rid of a dangerous witness in Kai, and he utterly destroys Willow's life, pushing her out of Congress, out of the hospital board, and out of the Quartermain family forever. Drew is using the highly publicized Sidwell estate auction to keep Sonny and Valentine completely occupied, ensuring they are too busy fighting each other to look into Willow's sudden, terrifying legal nightmare. He is banking on the PCPD being distracted by Hudson's chaos and Rick's meltdown. But Drew's master plan has a fatal flaw, and it comes from the most unexpected place imaginable: Danny Morgan and Charlotte Cassadine. Danny and Charlotte have been plotting their own secret revenge against Drew, and their plan heavily involves Scout. I believe their seemingly juvenile, reckless plot is going to accidentally intercept Drew's massive frame-up. They are going to stumble upon the digital trail, the burner phones, or the physical evidence that proves Willow is innocent and Drew is the one pulling the strings. A minor miscalculation in Danny and Charlotte's secret game is going to blow Drew's entire conspiracy out of the water, turning their teenage rebellion into a full-blown life or death crisis. If Drew realizes these kids have his secret, their lives are in immediate grave danger. If this theory holds true, the aftermath will be absolutely devastating for every single person involved. If Willow is suddenly thrust into the spotlight as the prime suspect in Kai's disappearance, who stands to lose everything? Willow, of course, faces decades in prison, but Tracy Quartermain will immediately seize this golden opportunity. Tracy isn't just going to engage in a standard family squabble. She is going to use this murder suspicion to ruthlessly and systematically push Willow out of the Quartermain empire once and for all. Willow will be forced to fight for her freedom, her children, and her legacy all at once. This is exactly where Jack Brennan steps in. Brennan's timely, calculated intervention could be the only thing keeping Willow out of a Pentonville cell, escalating the corporate and personal tension between him and the Quartermains to unprecedented levels. But the most explosive reaction of all will come from Nina Reeves. When Nina realizes that her daughter Willow is being framed for a heinous crime, she is going to go on a relentless warpath. And this time, her target isn't Brennan. Nina is going to figure out that Drew or another hidden enemy is targeting her child, and she will step directly into the line of fire to protect Willow before everything spirals out of control. Nina's maternal fury will drag her into a multi-front war, forcing her to utilize every dark connection she has to clear Willow's name, even if it means destroying herself in the process. Meanwhile, the collateral damage will spread like wildfire through the rest of the canvas. Rick Lansing, completely shattered by Elizabeth leaving him for Dante, won't just walk away quietly and lick his wound. Rick is going to make an extreme, radical decision. A desperate, heartbroken Rick is a incredibly dangerous Rick. His actions could inadvertently sabotage the PCPD's investigation, Or he might even tamper with evidence just to spite Dante and prove that he is the smartest man in the room. And let's not forget Curtis and Pentonville. If Sidwell's pulling strings on the outside while locked up, Curtis might become a pawn in a much larger game of leverage to secure Sidwell's hidden assets, turning his fight for survival into a fight for his family's safety on the outside. We may be looking at the beginning of something huge, something that will fundamentally alter the DNA of Port Charles. The pieces are all perfectly in place for a catastrophic chain reaction. From the treacherous, ego-driven bids at the Sidwell auction to the terrifying, eerie silence of Kai's disappearance, every single resident of this town is standing on a hidden landmine. The truth could be closer than anyone realizes, hidden in the terrified whispers overheard by Gio and Emma, or locked away in the dark secrets. Hudson is desperately trying to uncover about Little Feet. Someone is pulling the strings in the dark, orchestrating a symphony of absolute chaos, and they are counting on everyone being too blinded by their own personal drama, jealousy, and greed to see the trap closing around them. Someone may not be ready for what's coming next, but the clock is relentlessly ticking, and the truth is about to bleed out into the open. Keep your eyes peeled, trust no one, and question everything, because the next 3 weeks are going to change the landscape of this town forever.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.